good down the ghettos, man. He was a great guy. We did a lot of things together. I think the first time he went to St. Louis, I took him to St. Louis. The first time he ever went to St. Louis.
Wow. Well, the movie.
Yeah, many years ago.
The movie is great. Dolomite is my name, and it tells about a guy who, in a sense, like you, fought against all the odds and took control of his own destiny, right? And
well, you know, I'm glad you said that, because it made me feel good to be with someone who thought the same way and the same pattern that I came out of. That's kind of the way I came up and the way I thought. Mm-hmm. And it goes to show you that the children's record is still alive, you know. Mm-hmm. There's just different kind of approach, but children's record is still here, you know. Some disadvantaged we as black men and women who play the blues, you know. Yeah. And at that time, nobody believed in Ruben. He believed in himself. Nobody believed in Bobby Rush back in the early 50s, but I believed in myself. So here I am, you know.
And you've been to the Great Wall of China and around the world.
I've been around the world, the Great Wall of China. I did from Maine to Mexico. I can't think of many states and overseas and whatever that I haven't worked in a country. Many countries I've been to, most of the country, 80% of the country I've been to, and most of the states in the United States I have played one time or the other, and it's been a good ride for me, you know.
I love the fact that you acknowledge the power of the Chitlin Circuit, and I think in doing so, you are telling our people not to devalue something that some people might want to look down on. What you're saying is this was real, and it was rich, and it worked.
And it worked because they know I'm known as the king of the children's circuit. Yeah. What I mean about that, I'm not ashamed of who I am or what I do as a black man, as a black musician, and as a blues player. Most guys who are ashamed of that, you know, don't want to be known as it, because they've been taught by people who write about it, who play about it, or talk about it from TV or radio standpoint, talk about the blues being something less than something else. That's because black people's done it until the white people start doing it. Then it's better than bubblegum, right. You know.
Then they love it, right? And
then they love it, you know.
But they love the imitators, not the real thing. But they know the real thing.
God!
They know what they're doing.
What happened. Yeah, that's what happened back in the early 50s. I worked in places in a suburb of Chicago, behind a curtain. What they want to hear my music, they want to see my face. Yeah. And so they always loved it, but they want the white guys to do it so they could legitimize, make it legit. What they was doing was all right to do, as long as the white guys were doing it. But now the cover is off the table, and I'm glad this movie is out because it tells us that the blues is all right and the ghetto is all right. That's just right. We have to mortify ourselves, but we don't have to be ashamed of who we are, what we've done, or where we come from.
And at the end of the day, what we have done has changed the world. And what I can guarantee you, Bobby Rush, is what you're doing now and what we're about to do as a people will change human existence. That's what I believe. So I think that we are... Go ahead.
You just, man, boy, you touched my soul, because that's what I've been thinking. I needed something to confirm that, because I believe that, you know. Oh, hold on a minute, just one. I'm sorry I had to cut you off. I'm on that.
Yeah.
On that.
No problem.
I'm okay. Yeah. I didn't want to break it. Now we're back. You know. Okay, I'm sorry about that, man.
No problem.
Go ahead.
No problem. And so, you know, when you come here to, one thing else I said, I mentioned that tomorrow night's show at the Dakota is Bobby Rush solo. And
it's solo, unplugged, solo, whatever you want to call
acoustic,
it.
Right?
You know?
Yeah. So I have seen you on the solo show, and I've seen you with the big band and the dancers, both here. And the first time I saw you was down in Mississippi at the club in Jackson. What's the name of that club in Jackson?
I don't know what. I do so many clubs. It
was a theater.
The theater. Yeah, on Ferris Street.
Right.
Ferris Street Theater.
Right.
Yeah.
So on Ferris Street. That's the first time I saw you, and I knew your music, but I never saw you live before, and I was completely blown away by your show, your style, your energy, and just the phenomenal excellence with which you delivered entertainment, and you really brought community to our people in your performance. It was wonderful. And so I thought about that. Then I saw you here at the Dakota where it was solo. Bobby Rush, let me tell you, you fill the room by yourself, solo, the same way you fill the room with a cast of 20. So it tells me that the art and the magic is in the man. You, the orchestra, and I called you in my post. I said his presence is philharmonic. He is symphonic in and all by himself. That's what I think.
Well, I appreciate that, but I won't leave without saying people like you make people know who I am, because if it wasn't for people like you with radio, who people in the news who talk about me, people would know they wouldn't know anything about me. So thank you for introducing me to the people so they know what to expect, even if right or wrong.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Well, you are welcome. And let me tell my listeners that Bobby Rush is on this week's front page of Inside News. It's the full front page cover of Bobby Rush in his guitar. So pick it up and get it. Bring one down to the Dakota, and maybe he'll autograph that for you. Bobby Rush is one of the last living legends of this original African American art form called the blues. And so
well, thank you very much, and I hope I get to see you on tomorrow night.
Absolutely.
If you can't come out, I'll send a note to your house and let your wife know that you can come out, because I know when you're henpecked, it's hard to get out the house.
Now you put me on that. But you got it exactly right. Bobby, I'm not henpecked. I've been pecked by the right hand.
That's my line, man.
Bobby,
I love you, bro.
Love you too, man.
Well, thank you, man. And I'll see you on tomorrow. I appreciate you, man.
All right, take care.
Thank you, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bobby Rush. I'm Al Mcfarlane. This is Conversations with Al Mcfarlane. Let's check some more Bobby Rush music out here.
You know, I came home yesterday from work, a little tired, disgusted. Oh, I had a few problems in my life. I came home from work, ran straight to my wife. I told her, I said, baby, I'm gonna leave you. Well, I said that many times before, but I never reached the front door. Most of the time when I said that, she would grab me and ask me, Bobby, please don't leave me. This time, she was in the kitchen cooking. She acted like I was the last thing on her mind. I packed my little thing and headed to the door. When I reached the door, she stopped me and said, Bobby, so listen, I got something I want to tell you. Sit your bag down a minute. She said, I don't want you to leave me, but I can't make you stay. She said, the mind made up to leave me. You're gonna leave me anyway. She said, here's one thing I want you to know before you walk out the door. She said, one more cat, don't stop no show. She's a one monkey, don't stop no show. She said, if you leave me, you know it's gonna break my heart in two. She said, I'll find me somebody else, and I'll get over losing you. She said, here's one thing I want you to know before you walk out the door. One monkey, don't stop no show. She's a one monkey, don't stop no show. She said, I've been fishing since I was 22, but I can still catch another fish like I caught you. She said, I haven't been hunting, but I still know the woods. I haven't shot the gun for a while, but my gun still shoots good. She said, here's one thing I want you to know. She said, one monkey, don't stop no show. She said, one monkey, don't stop no show. She said, I'm gonna miss you, baby, like any woman miss a love. But you ain't the only man in the whole round world. She said, if you're gonna leave me quick, cause you ain't the only lumberjack that carries the big stick. One monkey, don't stop no show. One monkey, don't stop no show. One monkey, said, remember one thing, when you move, you lose. She said, one more day, don't stop no show. One more day, wow, don't stop no show. She said, one more day, don't stop no show. One more day, don't stop no show. She said, one more day, don't stop no show. She said, one more day, show, don't stop no show. She said, love me or leave me, either one you wanna do. Just a minute when you leave me, when you move you lose. She said, one more day, don't stop no show. One more day, wow, don't stop no show.
I'm Al Mcfarlane. This is Conversations with Al Mcfarlane. That was just a cool interview with Bobby Rush. And on the phone, who just called me, is our friend D. Henry Williams, the Grand Diva. D, are you there?
I am here. Thank you.
Okay, let me see. Put my headsets on. I can't. Now I hear you.
Yeah, put the headset on.
Got them on. I was trying to listen to you through the telephone, but I switched you over to the board already. But listen.
That's fine. Good.
That was, thank you for calling. And how did the interview go from your point of view? What you think about it?
You know, I mean, you know, the two of you, you're real anyway, R-E-A-L. And I just love the way you engage your listeners. You know, you just bring all of their spirit out, and that's what you did with Bobby Rush. Yeah, and he could feel it. I could feel it. The audience, the listeners, rather, the KFI listeners could feel it. I'm sure. It was just wonderful. That's why we talking now.
There we go.
Because it was like, oh heck yeah. Let me call Al. Yeah, I felt like I needed to say something to you about the interview, but also just to say, you know what a good interview. And Bobby Rush, I mean, how many people are going to be interviewing Bobby Rush?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well,
you know, and he was forever grateful. You know what I mean?
He is so amazing. You know, so this brother is like, I think, 84. And whenever I see him, he'll take and jump straight up 3 feet and do a kick, air kick. I can't do it, you know.
And I'm not going to try.
and he is just so cool, both with saying stuff straight up, but also he's a master of the innuendo, the double entendre, right? And so you said, is he really saying that? Yeah, he's saying it.
Yes, he's saying that.
And he's right on it, yeah. And so I really love Bobby Rush, his music, his energy, and what he stands for and what he has done and what he's accomplished. 400 records? Can you believe that?
Isn't that something?
Isn't that something? Unbelievable, yeah. And still going strong. So, well, I just want to remind people, check him out. He's in town tomorrow night. And
tomorrow night to Dakota.
One of the last living legends of blues. The great, you know, so he's a treasure.
Well, I enjoyed it when he said that I believe it was you, and he rephrased it by saying that that the blues and the way we live, and we meaning black folks, is what it is. You know, it's no pretense. I mean, I'm paraphrasing myself right now, but it's no pretense. It's what it is, and we're proud of it. You know, they try not to make us proud of it. But we proud.
That's right.
You know, we okay. Maybe not. The word is not proud, but we're okay with it. You know what I'm saying? And I know I've always been okay with it. So anyway, you too.
Yeah.
You and Bobby.
Yeah, we got it going. Well, what I said to him
absolutely.
I know that it's been this spirit, this gift, this genius that has been one of the driving forces that got us here, both individually and as a people. And this force is so real, and it's eternal, it's living, and it's powerful. And I believe that it reflects the humanity that we are moving towards creating. That humanity comes out of our experience, out of the suffering, but also out of the victory that we experience moment by moment. And I said to him, and I say to you, Grand Diva, I believe that the best is still unfolding right now as we speak, and that we are in this conversation creating a future that is glorious, that is wonderful, and that will move our people and humanity to where we should be as the best human beings we can be. That's what I think.
I believe that too, and when you say humanity, I also look at the word, and it's a synonym to me, is spirituality. We have that deep, and I'm not talking religion, but we have that deep spirituality / humanity that you were speaking of with Bobby Rush, who will be here tomorrow evening at the Dakota.
Grand Diva, thank you so much for calling. We'll talk to you later.
My pleasure.
Grand Diva every Saturday morning. What time you come on, Grand Diva?
6 to 9 a.m. But you know, I'm also on archive. You know how that goes.
That's right. Okay. Take care. Love you. Love you. Love you.
All right. Have a good holiday. Bye bye.
Bye bye. I'm Al Mcfarlane. This is Conversations with Al Mcfarlane. Just wonderful. The Grand Diva called in, watching the show, listening to the show, watching it if she's on Facebook Live. So just for our listeners, you can also pick up what we're doing on Facebook Live. So let me continue. I've got some young people in the studio, and that really was the fun of talking with Bobby Rush. Bobby Rush is an old master, right? And what he represents, though, was this tenacity and this appreciation for the gift that he has and the gifts that we bring to culture, in culture, and to community and to the world. And I have a couple of young men, young brothers in studio who I believe fit the same mold. It's the next iteration, the next generation of this creative potential and possibility in our people. So here is Justin and Antoine. Justin and Antoine. Let me turn your mics on just a second. Brothers, welcome to Conversations with Al Mcfarlane.
How's it going?
Going good.
It's an honor, man. Thank you.
And then also a photographer, part of your crew, is in the studio.
Yep.
Let me give you your name, too. Craig, yeah. Okay,
Shooter
Craig.
Kaiser. Shooter named Kaiser.
And if you want to jump in the mic, you're going to be there. But listen, thanks you guys for being here. You've got a company. The company is called 4THECITY.
Correct.
And also Antz Creations, right? Two
Correct.
companies.
Yep.
And you collaborate. And the reason you're here, I invited you to talk about what you're calling the Season of Revolution. Is that
Correct,
it?
yep.
And that's a new product line that you're dropping tonight.
Tonight at 12 a.m.
At 12 a.m. Talk about that. So first of all, talk about you,
Okay.
who you are and why you're doing what you're doing and what you bring in terms of creativity and what hope is driving you.
For
So
sure.
Justin, you start.
Okay, my name is Justin Davis. I'm a student at Anoka Ramsey Community College right now, but I'm so interested into the fashion business. I've been doing it for about 3 years. We started up the company about 3 years ago, and how me and Antoine, who's with me right now, the CEO of Ant Creations, connected is I seen his shoe online, and I was like, okay, maybe if we tie some shoes into clothing, because, you know, we were strictly clothing from the start, and I was like, maybe we can just add another, you know, guitar to it. So we, I hit Ant, and then we've just been connecting ever since, and we've just been flowing together. So we've done collaboration shoes every 1 year anniversary of 4THECITY. It's been launched. We always do like a 1 year anniversary shoe.
Antoine.
All right. My name is Antoine Jenkins. I'm from Coon Rapids, Minnesota. And initially how I got started about 3 years ago as well, right when I graduated high school. It started off as just doing something fun, just customizing shoes. And then I kind of started reaching out into a business when I had some bigger names start reaching out. And then Justin started reaching out to me 1 year when I was on my way back home from college. And he said he was starting up his brand. And it was kind of a cool idea because I already did shoes and I just didn't get a chance to do my clothing because I already wanted to do it. Mm-hmm. So it was like yin and yang. So we kind of, as soon as we started meshing together, it just instantly started clicking. Mm-hmm. And we started making like the first year shoes. We did a Air Force One, and everyone was buzzing about it. Like everyone started reaching us like, yo, can I get a pair? Can I get a pair? Can I get a pair? And we sold out.
So you make the shoes one by one. You custom made shoes, right?
Yep, one by one.
Yeah. So I've got a shoe here on the table at the studio here. So those who are listening on the radio, you have to use your imagination. But if you're watching on Facebook Live, you can see the actual product. Describe this product here.
So this shoe right here was inspired by Cameron. I went to New York in these about almost a month ago just to test it out to see. And I was getting compliments everywhere I was going in these. So I got the perfect memo for it. So everyone.
So you just showed up on the street or on the subway somewhere walking around.
Yep.
And people start stopping you, asking you, what about those shoes?
Exactly.
Tell me how it happened.
So I went out there for, Rolling Loud. And this is how I usually go out to connect and make networking. I go to these events and where the artists are going to be, and I talk to them. So this is where I've met Juice WRLD, G Herbo, Lil Key, Lil Skies, and actually Lil Skies have actually got a pair of these. And if you guys know who Pink Sweats is, he recently just came here and he got a pair because this matches his vibe. So when I was wearing them, I was just like testing. I was like, okay, I'm in New York, so let's see what people are going to say. Because I showed them the fur, and then when I was showing them like backstage and stuff like that, they were like, whoa, where'd you get those, this and that, and they were loving them. And so I had a few other people that I was guess like trying to get a pair, but everyone just loved the shoes. I had even like strangers and homeless people saying like, yo, those are some fire kicks, what do you do? This and that. And I'm like, man, I'm from Minnesota. And they said, Minnesota? What?
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
And so what all do you design, Justin? What kind of things what kinds of apparel are you putting together?
So for this collection, the reason why we named it Season of Revolution is, let me start off first by each collection that we drop. We either drop a winter, summer, fall collection. So this is like our winter/fall collection because we didn't have a fall collection together. So it's both of them combined. But we took our time on this one. So this one is going to be a transition from a streetwear brand to like a premium clothing luxury brand. So we're going to have like higher end clothing of course, and we're also going to have, lower end clothing, but we're going to become a retailer. We're a retailer for this drop tonight. So we're also going to be carrying other big name brands on our site.
So how does it work? I mean, you're not a brick and mortar store. You are a what's the right word for it?
Online retailer.
Online retailer.
Yep.
Retailer and reseller. And so the things that you design and create for yourself, you actually have them constructed and brought, or do you take things that are already made and build on them? How does it work?
So a few things we do. We have a couple manufacturers when we want to get like some basic end products, but then we also, I know he's actually not with me right now, but his name is Denamani. He's one of our cut and sew guys. So he gets the products, like we go to the fabric store or whatever, and he makes it by hand, cut and sew. So that's where most of our products from this launch tonight will be most cut and sew. So that's where the value of the products is
custom.
Custom. So it's going to be a big jump from I know I was on KFAI last year for the city, and we talked about our last drop. So it's going to be a big drop from a big transition from last year's drop to this drop, and the website's going to be filled, and it's going to have a lot of stuff from like sleepwear to even like outwear, jackets or whatever. It's going to have everything on there.
I'm impressed with you guys for the entrepreneurial strategy. How does it come to you? Why did you decide, and when did you decide that, number one, you could be a business owner and that you could create something that you could bring to the market and that people would buy? What planted that seed in you, and what's been your experience so far?
For me, it was just like something I always did. Like I always like coming up with my own stuff, just being a creative itself, and then incorporating it with clothes of just being stylish itself was just like, hey, okay, maybe I could do this. And then when I initially was starting it, I was just doing it for fun. I was taking my little brother's shoes and my old shoes, just painting them up from like getting paint from Walmart and stuff. And obviously it chip and wouldn't last long, but it was just like the cooler creation, just having my own. So then once I was doing it and the word started spreading around, people were offering me to pay money for it. So I was like, hey, maybe I could start off a business. I don't really know too much. I don't really got no guidance, but who knows where it takes me. So I was still in school doing it, and I was an athlete as well. So I was doing athlete, working, going to school, and doing this. So it was like, this is just my like scapegoat. And it was so fun. So I was like, this kind of stresses, cools me down a little bit, because then I get to see the product, and once it finishes, I'm like, oh, I love the process now. So once I started doing it, I fell in love with the process, and once you do that, you're never going to stop.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll kind of add on to that, like by falling in love with the process. I didn't know that clothing was going to take me like as far as I am right now.
What did you originally see yourself doing when you were younger? Like, it's not like you're old, but you guys are young, probably in your early 20s, I think, right?
I'm 20 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm 21.
So, young guys.
Correct.
And so, but say when you were 12, 10, what did you see yourself doing?
I was dreaming to play in the NBA and just basketball-wise. So, I mean, I feel like that's a big dream. I mean,
and you were a star athlete in high school, right?
Yeah. So, and I tore my ACL a year, unfortunately. So that kind of transitioned from, the clothing, from being an athlete.
Okay. So when did you discover your passion for fashion and design? And when did you also discover that the path for you would not be just creative, but the marketing and business side?
Okay, yeah, I found it out about my senior year when, like I said, I tore my ACL during basketball. So during that time, you go through surgery, you're sitting in your bed. It's a lot of bed rest. So when I was in the bed, I was like, okay, basketball, I have a passion for it or whatever, but now I kind of want to change roles. So I just had like a big thought process with myself through the bed, and I realized like, okay, maybe I can take over in the clothing. And I didn't specifically want to do clothing because I had an eye for fashion. I didn't gain it to about a year of doing it. I just said this is something I can maybe do. And for the city, the word for the city connected more to like more than just clothing. So that's kind of what my vision was from the jump.
Let's talk about that. What do you mean?
Okay.
Where did that connection, how did it reveal itself to you, and what did it mean to you? What did it say to you when you had the idea of For the City?
It standed out for like the people and like the city and like whatever city you're in, and just like a way of representing like where you're from, you know what I mean? So it's like I would say it can just tie into more things than just clothing. Right now we have For the City as a brand, but we're eventually just like a clothing brand. We're eventually trying to turn into like a brand, like rather it's, you know, I mean, I've heard of
it's a lifestyle.
Exactly.
You've heard of it's a lifestyle.
Okay. Yeah, so it can just go to like multiple things. That's kind of where I got the For the City name from.
And so talk more about this developing your eye for design and fashion. How did that become clearer and clearer to you as you started doing the work?
As I kept on dropping launches, I mean, people, tons of support first off. So that's, I mean, without support, you obviously can't make it into whatever you're doing. I mean, you know, so the support was actually a big thing, and just is multiple, like, you know, opportunities. Just like how I am right now, I'm speaking on KFAI radio. You know, that's an opportunity to reach out to more people and to talk to more people, and just more opportunities like that came in where I'm talking at schools. I did a couple giveaways at Osseo High School recently. We just did a giveaway, and a friend of mine that actually owns a clothing store downtown in the North Loop, Martin Patrick 3. He's the owner at the Martin Patrick 3. He actually came in to talk to us, to the kids, and basically just like gave them knowledge behind the fashion industry. And it's just people like that are in a higher place than me right now that just keep me motivated daily to keep pushing. Like, this is how far the clothing business could take me. I go to his store every day, and like the Martin Patrick 3 where I work at, it's amazing. So it's just like, okay, I look in my eyes and I just like, okay, you can reach this higher goal through the clothing too as well.
Yeah, and on top of that, we also reached out last year. We went to Irondale High School and we talked to the Stripes program, and then we also donated to them. We gave about 8 kids $160 gift cards to Finish Line before Christmas, either if they were excelling good in school or if they actually were like needy. So some of the Stripes program leaders were there, and they picked out the certain kids, and then we also wind up doing a giveaway as well on top of it. So we're definitely involved in the community, especially with the younger kids. And there's also, we got some more going on in the future with that too.
And then with the Osseo event, I want to talk more about that because we're dropping this collection partial to a student. So when we talked to the Osseo students, we gave them opportunity to come up with like the best design, and the best design that all 78 Osseo students did, we picked one winner to be featured on our collection that we're dropping tonight. So we already have that one winner. His design was amazing. It was actually nice just seeing.
It was crazy. We were looking at it, we're like, dang.
We were looking at all the the work. So we gave them a week to, you know, submit their design to us, and the emails, they were just like, wow, these kids are actually pretty good. Like, they like, this is the changes we need in school, like bigger, like, because at Irondale we didn't have a fashion class how they did at Osseo. So it's just like that opened my eyes, like, okay, this is gonna really change. Like, the fashion industry is gonna keep getting better and better. It's gonna keep growing.
Who's the student? Who is the student that won? Or can you say his name?
Yep, his name is Rico.
Okay,
I'm not quite sure his last name.
Yeah, but talk about his work. What of his are you presenting tonight?
So he has a custom-made cut-in-two sweatshirt, and it's going to have the design, the logo. So he didn't actually come up with the garment itself, the product. We developed the product, and that's what we told them. We said, just draw out the work or do a Photoshop illustrate of the work, and then we're going to put your logo on our custom-made product. So that's what. And he's going to get a chance to model in it, and he's going to be able to, you know, see everything or choose the model, whatever one he wants to do. But yeah,
full creative design, like whole creative direction.
Exactly. We're putting it. The thing was, we were enriching the students to get their design skills. You know, strive a little bit better for their design skills, and, you know, get better. So I mean, that's what it was.
I'm Al Mcfarlane. This is Conversations with Al Mcfarlane, in studio with Justin and Antoine. They're doing a release of a new collection, their fall and winter collection. This collection is called the Season of Revolution, and it drops online tonight at midnight. The companies they represent, For the City, and also Antoine's company is called Antz Creations, and they have been collaborating for a long time. They're both 20, 21 years old, so they're young guys. And as you were talking, Jason, about going back into the high schools and helping kids and helping motivate kids to value their own ideas, their imagination, and to bring their imagination forward in a design that you can work with. That's got to be powerful.
Man, powerful.
And just you telling me about that tells me something about how you work and how you, as from my point of view, young guys are reaching deeper into the youth market to develop knowledge and to know where the future is for those following you. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And so when kids hear the offer, you invite them to create designs, do they think that you are for real, that you really think that they've got something to offer? How do they feel about that? I mean, I'm thinking that you are reaching young people that already have a sense that they can do something significant, and that people my age tend to undervalue or to overlook or to not believe that this creative power is already formed and working. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah,
Talk about it. Talk about it.
Yeah, so I mean, I would just say like the power, like it's just like I said again, it's me. It's like I just kind of went back with the high school. It's like me filling their shoe, or like me putting them in their shoe. So once they already knew, they knew if it wasn't for like our name for the city, maybe they wouldn't have been as happy. Like maybe if they wouldn't have been taking us as serious. But just the development and how far we've came as a brand for the city and Ant Creations these past 3 years, going into the high school, the students were already excited. They already knew about the design contest because we emailed their teacher, and they already had standards, you know, so they were really engaged.
And so you're working with the teachers and the administration, so it's not underground. It's
Yeah, it's definitely talking to them. They were already in the loop ahead of time. And also, like, obviously, when we were there, they obviously had their self-doubts, but who doesn't have their self-doubts? And that's when we were there, like, to encourage them, like, yo, don't be afraid of it, because this is what you need to take that leap to get to where you need to be. Like, obviously we've had our success, but also we're still not even to the point of where we're even looking to be at right now. So that's what we're just trying to push to them, and like make sure that they're still motivated and pushing themselves.
Hold on, this is Al Mcfarlane at Conversations with Al Mcfarlane. Let me do some station business and come back in just a second.
The KFAI Board of Directors election is taking place now through December 6th. The board is tasked with envisioning the future of KFAI while working closely with the general manager and seeing that that vision is realized. If you'd like a say in your station's operation and direction, go to kfai.org/elections and vote for your preferred candidates. Ballots are also available in the KFAI office. All KFAI donor members and volunteer members are eligible to participate in this election. The deadline for voting, Friday, December 6th at 5 p.m.
KFAI is a proud sponsor of The Record Show, like a giant church rummage sale but with really cool vinyl, CDs, DVDs, posters, and music memorabilia. The next record show is Saturday, December 7th, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Richfield American Legion, 6501 Portland Avenue South. Lots of free parking. More information at mmrecordshow.com or 651-224-4947.
Programming is supported by Ampers and the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund. Announcing Ampers.org, featuring music, arts, and cultural stories, including many produced here at KFAI. Information and audio at Ampers.org. Ampers, diverse radio for Minnesota's communities. Programming on KFAI is supported in part by the Minnesota History Center, presenting First Avenue, Stories of Minnesota's Main Room. Hear personal stories from music legends, learn about the venue's inner workings, and see Prince's iconic suit from Purple Rain. First Avenue, Stories of Minnesota's Main Room is on display now at the Minnesota History Center.
I'm Al Mcfarlane. This is Conversations with Al Mcfarlane. Thank you for being part of the program. Got some young people in the studio who are creatives, doing great work. Justin is here, and also Antoine is here, and they've got a project. Their business is called 4THECITY, and Antz has a company as well called Anthony has a company as well called Antz Creations. They create in the fashion world, and they're designers, creators, producers, and they're creating online retail as well. And they're dropping their new collection. The collection is called Season of Revolution tonight at midnight online. And I'll have you give the contact information in a few minutes, in just a second. But let me bring another voice into the conversation, one of the elders and leaders of our community. You know, we're in the Christmas season, and I've got State Senator Bobby Joe Champion on the line, who's doing a wonderful thing every day, serving us in the legislature. But this time of year, the extra thing is a production in music that he's going to talk about right now. Bobby Joe, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Al. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, and thank you for taking a minute to jump in here and kick it with us. Talk about the event.
Well, thank you so much for just creating the opportunity for me and the other young people who are in the studio to talk about their great work that they're going to launch tonight, and so I find that exciting.
It's amazing.
Oh, it is amazing. You know, and its creative juices are something that I think we should always value and appreciate and support in more ways than one. That's what young people are doing for Music for the Holidays. That's the event that I do every single year around the holidays. And what I try to do is create an opportunity for artists, number one, to present their gift or gifts to the community all around the holiday, using music, dance, and other forms of creativity by which to do that. And all these folks usually are reflective of our community, but they're recording artists, they're Grammy-nominated artists, they're those who just inspire us to be better. And it's going to happen this year, Monday, December 16th at 7:30 at the Armory in downtown Minneapolis. And guess what? It's free. It doesn't cost folks anything. And so there's a reason for it being free, and I thank Insight News for being a great media sponsor as well. But the reason why it's free, Al, is because we wanted to create an opportunity for families and for elders and those who might also just want a different cultural experience to come, as well as those who might be in a residential treatment facilities like, Turning Point or someplace like Mary's Place, to come together around music, because music is the universal language, and have an opportunity to create great memories. Forget about everything else that's going on, because the holidays can be very stressful, both for money, time, attention, and guess what? Some people are just lonely. This is a great time for us to come together. And before the concert, we have a dinner. That's free as well, right?
Amazing.
Unfortunately, we can't fit everybody in there, but we try to make sure it's open and folks can come, because food is a great lubricant. So Music for the Holidays coming up December 16th, 7:30 at the Minneapolis Armory. And for more information, you can go to our site, which is musicfortheholidays.com, and there you can see the list of artists, from P.J. Morton, who's coming back, a Grammy-nominated, a Grammy Award-winning artist, is coming back. Stokely, our own Stokely, who we
Williams,
love,
Mint Condition,
from Mint Condition, and his own, solo career, just Stokely. We have, if anybody watched Sunday's Best, there's a woman who was the third runner-up. Her name is Tiffany Andrews, coming from New Jersey. Then we have our other local favorites, from Tanya Hughes to the Hearst Experience, to Donnell Davis and the Remnant, to T. Michael Rambo, to Nachito Herrera, who is a great Grammy Award-winning / nominated Cuban pianist. It's great. We're going to have a good time.
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to be wonderful. And, people can also pick up this week's edition of Insight News. There's a beautiful advertisement in the paper giving you the details. The event is Monday, December 16th. It's at the Armory. The Armory is 500, I think, South 6th Street in downtown Minneapolis.
That's right.
On Monday, December 16th at 5:30, dinner, 7:30, the concert. Guess what? It's all free. The dinner is free, the concert is free, and as Senator Champion just said, this is something that is an intentional experience, an opportunity to bring us together as a family, as a community, around the spirit of the season of the holidays, and around this notion that we can demonstrate what community means by how we connect and relate and share, celebrate, and even worship together. So I think it's a wonderful thing, Senator Champion. Senator Champion, a minute or two, you're on break now, right? For the Thanksgiving. What's on your mind in terms of the political environment? A couple of minutes here. What are the things that the community should keep top of mind right now in the state legislature?
Well, top of mind is, coming up in the next legislative session is the bonding year. That's a year where we try to make sure we make investments all throughout the state around infrastructure. And so that's important. It's still a policy year, even though last year was a budget year. This year is a policy year. So if there are other great policies that you believe that we should think about, from health care to restore the vote, to criminal justice reform, to jobs and economic development, you name it. That is something that the legislature should take up, along with, guns and all the other things that some people find controversial, but I call them necessary opportunities for us to discuss things that we may not be on the same page around, right? And try to find common ground. So that's what should be top of mind. People should be thinking about that in real time, and think about the complexion of the legislature as well as federally, because next year is 2020 is an election year. Mm-hmm. So there are going to be elections from president all the way down to school board in some places, right? And referendums and other things folks are going to, think about. So if you need help in any shape, form, or fashion, you can reach out to me and others, and I will be objective and just answer questions for you, or point you in the right place by which to be able to get more information on candidates. And remember, your vote does count. That's right. Who you elect will drive what are the issues that we'll talk about and pass and invest in at the legislature. So when people say my vote doesn't count, that's untrue, because if it didn't count, why is it that groups of people try so hard to make sure that you don't vote?
Bobby Champion, let me ask you to say a word or two to these young entrepreneurs here in the studio, Justin and Antoine. I'm so impressed. Justin, I think, is 21 and Antoine is 20.
No,
backwards, right? And so what these guys are doing is reaching out and creating design competitions in high school students and awarding incentives and recognitions to high school students that produce this creative. And the reward is that the young creator will get his or her design or product dropped in the collection. I'm sitting here looking at them amazed at the genius of the idea. These 20, 21-year-olds are operating like they're 50 years old, reaching deep down behind them, and that means they're reaching down to the 17 and 16-year-olds, and they are respecting the creative genius of the 14, 15, and 16-year-olds as creators, number one, but they also recognize them as a market that is ready to develop and to be developed and be served. What kind of word of advice do you give to young, brilliant young men such as these, Senator Champion?
One thing that I would say, I'm impressed by that. I'm excited about that. I was just listening to a song that makes sense here. P.J. Morton has a song that's called Kid Again, right? And so the whole idea of the song is, remember when you were a kid, you had all these thoughts about what you could be until the world, intervened and started telling you what you could or could not do. I love the fact that this is like being a kid again. It's like you saying, I have the courage and the ability and the insight and the wherewithal by which to do anything that I put my mind to. And not only are you doing it for yourself, but you're saying, let me bring some other people along too, because I believe in the creative juices of other people, and I want to create a platform and an opportunity for that to happen. That gets back to the collective of our communities too. Because remember, throughout history, we have always talked about we and not I. Mm-hmm. And so for you to have the courage and the foresight to reach back and say, it's we and not just I, and that we all can walk this journey together and be successful together and be entrepreneurial, right? Because it's okay to make money, right? It's okay to say, if I can find ways to be creative but yet make money at the same time, I can then use my resources and finances to even improve our community in a better way. And so I applaud you, and I tell you, keep up the good work. No, don't be sidetracked by naysayers. Use it as inspiration and fuel to propel you forward. That's what I say. Awesome. Go forward.
Bobby Champion, thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
We'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. So we're down to the last couple of minutes. Thanks so much to Senator Bobby Champion for the update on the upcoming music for the holidays, but also for engaging you young men and acknowledging you. But I wanted to end the program by talking about this whole idea of the Season of Revolution, that event that's happening tonight. Talk about that.
So, the drop Season of Revolution, we always come up with like a name that can tie into more than just the clothing. So it's the Season of Revolution is the change up, the transition, and not greatness yet. I'm reaching to be great, but just the transition of what we're doing. I mean, we're a retailer now, and it's a rebrand. So it's a big stage, a big stepping stone. We had a lot of things we had to conquer to get to here. So it's just like it's a big, almost like a congratulations to us, but you know.
Mm-hmm. So.
And then also, I just did a rebrand too. Before this, my first couple years, I was just Antz Customs, and I only did custom work.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm transitioning to my whole entire brand and showing people that I don't just do custom shoes. I do everything, the whole creative process. So I do marketing, I do creative directing. And shout out to my team, because at first I was just dolo, but now since I made a team, everything looks professional, and everything, all of my stuff on my Instagram. You guys, make sure you guys follow me on Instagram. All of us too. I'll mention that.
Yeah, take a minute to talk about all the ways people can connect, because that's really important to know how to get to the drop tonight,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, so the drop tonight is going to be www.forthecity.co, and we're going to do the number 4 instead of FOR, so forthecity.co. And our Instagram is _forthecity, and as well as Twitter is _forthecity.
And then my Instagram, my website's dropping mid-December as well. So also, just to let you guys know, early heads up, me and Justin are also doing a Christmas giveaway, a Christmas drop for the Air Force Ones. You can follow me on Instagram at Antz Creation. That's ANTZ.CREATIONZ. And you'll find all my work on there, and also you'll see our future drop coming on there. But make sure you guys tap in with us. We got some crazy stuff coming.
Sure, yeah.
And we've got a young man here shooting video this whole time, but jump in for a second. We got about a minute.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. My name is Shooter named Kaiser. I'm a local photographer. I've been doing photography only for a year, but I'm very talented. I do believe in my work, and I work with everybody. So if you're looking for a great, young, talented, outgoing photographer, please follow my photography page at Shooter named Kaiser on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Just find me. I promise you I'm willing to work with anybody. But yeah, thank you for having me.
How do you spell Shooter name?
Oh, so it's SHOOTER name.
Shooter.
N-A. Yeah, shooter, regular shooter. Except, with my camera. No violence. I only use a camera.
Shooter name.
But shooter name, Name. Kaiser. My last name is KAIZER.
Great. Thank you so much. Well, listen, guys, last words. Anything else you want to say? We got to close it out.
Yeah, I also want to say, he mentioned his team. I also want to thank all my brand ambassadors for putting everything together on the website tonight with Maddie, Ashley, Victor, Jared, all of them. I want to say thank you to all of them.
Shout out to everybody, man. You guys know who you are.
Well,
tonight at 12 a.m.
Thank you. Thank you for doing what you're doing, for being who you are. I want to tell you that I have the highest respect for you and the greatest expectations. I fully expect that you will be madly successful because you have this confidence and you have good ideas and you're willing to work. You're not afraid. And so I just commend you for being fearless, and I applaud you to go without hesitation or reservation. Change the world. The world belongs to you.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm Al Mcfarlane. This is Conversations with Al Mcfarlane. What a wonderful show. And stay tuned for my friend Jackie Maddox coming up with a great show. Here we're going to end, though, with the Minnesota 90 program, and then we'll come to Jackie Maddox. We'll see you next week.
Welcome to MN90, Minnesota history in 90 seconds.
They come and go, these plains, summer and winter, day and night.
In 1926, flying was not a viable means of transportation, except for mail. If you did manage to fly, it certainly wasn't warm or comfortable. Here's Jack L. High, author of the book Nonstop, A Turbulent History of Northwest Airlines.
The wind is whistling through your hair, more than whistling,